Hello, students. Welcome to all. Students, today I'm going to teach you chapter 15 of science book, that is Improvement in Food Resources. And this is for grade 9th. So students, let's get started. Students, let's see need for increasing food production. Our country is more than 1 billion. Population of our country is more than 1 billion and it is still growing. We will need more than a billion ton of grain every year to feed this growing population. Since increasing the area of land for cultivation is limited, it is necessary to increase the production efficiency of crops and livestock. The production efficiency of crops and livestock can be increased by adopting scientific management practices to improve the crop yield. Undertaking mixed farming, intercropping, integrated farming practices like combining agriculture with livestock, poultry, fisheries, and beekeeping. So, students, in nutshell, we got to understand here, since population is increasing a lot, so we need to get more food requirement so that we can meet up the demands of this increased population, demands of food actually, not only for the population of human beings but population of animals as well, domesticated animals as well. So so we need to increase the efficiency of crop production. So for this thing we have to adopt new innovative scientific techniques to increase our yield. Now, students, let's see what are the different types of crops and what they provide us. Students, like cereals like rice, wheat, maize, millet, sorghum, etc. They provide us carbohydrate. Pulses like peas, bean, gram, lentils, etc. provides us protein. Oil seeds like groundnut, sesame, castor, mustard, linseed, sunflower provides us fat. Vegetables, spices, fruits provides us vitamins and minerals along with small amount of carbohydrate, fats and proteins. Fodder crops, it is actually the feed of animals like berseem, oats, Sudan grass are grown as food for livestock. Livestock are domesticated animals. Students, let's see different type of the crops and what temperature they require. There are two types of the crops, kharif and rabi crop. Kharif crop are grown during the rainy season from June to October, like paddy, soybean, maize, pigeon pea, green gram, black gram, cotton, etc. Rabi crops of the crops growing during winter season from November to April, like wheat, gram, peas, mustard, linseed, etc. And students, kindly keep this thing in your mind. This is the most frequently asked question. What is the difference between Kharif and Rabi crops? I have seen this is being asked in final examination. Definition of Kharif and Rabi crops or difference between the two. So kindly keep this thing in your mind. Now students, let's see improvement in crop yield. How we can improve our yield. This is done by three main activities. They are crop variety improvement, crop production improvement, crop protection management. First, crop variety improvement. This improvement can be done by selecting a good variety of the crops. This is done by mixing. Mixing is called hybridization. We mix up genetically different plants to obtain the good yield, better resistance, and good variety. Hybridization may be intervarietal, that is between the different varieties, or interspecific between different species of same genus, or intergeneric, that is between different genera. Another way of improving the crop variety is by introducing a gene to obtain the desired characteristics. This produces the genetically modified crops. Crop variety improvement is done for the following. It is done to obtain a higher yield, okay, to increase the productivity of the crop per acre. Biotic and abiotic resistance, that is to increase the resistance of the crop to biotic factors, that is living factors like insects, disease, etc., and abiotic factors, that is non-living factors like drought, salinity, heat, cold. All these abiotic climatic factors or conditions, whatever it is. And it is done change in the maturity duration, that is to reduce the duration between sowing and harvesting so that farmers can grow multiple crops during the year. Wider adaptability to grow the crops in different climatic conditions. Desirable agronomic characters like tallness, more branching are useful for fodder crops, and dwarfness is desirable for cereal crops. Crop variety improvement is done for the following. As this I have already taught. Next is crop production management. Crop production management includes nutrient management, irrigation, cropping management. First, what is nutrient management? Plants get nutrients from air, water, and soil. There are 16 nutrients required by the plants for their proper growth. Air supplies, as we know, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Water supplies, as we know, water is made of H2O, that is hydrogen, oxygen. Obviously, it will supply hydrogen and oxygen. And the remaining 13 nutrients are obtained from soil itself. And among the 16 nutrients required by the plant, 6 are required in large quantities called macronutrients. And the macronutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. 7 are required in small quantity called as micronutrients. And soil can be enriched by supplying nutrients in the form of manures and fertilizers. Micronutrients are iron, magnesium, boron, zinc, copper, molybdenum, and chlorine. So these are required in small quantities. That's why they are called micronutrients. Now, as I already talked about manure and fertilizer, so let's see what is manure and what is fertilizer. First, manure. Manure is prepared by the decomposition of plant and animal waste. It contains organic matter, that is living matter, nutrients. It helps to increase the soil fertility. It also helps to reduce the use of fertilizers, recycle farm waste, and protects the environment. Because manure is not that much concentrated, so it is pollution free, so it protects the environment. There are two types of the manure. They are compost and green manure. Compost is prepared by decomposition of plant and animal waste in pits called compost pits. Compost prepared by using earthworm is called vermicompost. As you know, earthworms are called friend of farmers because they help in making the soil airy, and they make the soil rich in nutrients. Compost is rich in organic matter and nutrients. Second type of manure is green manure. Before sowing seeds in fields, some green plants like sunham, gore, etc. are mixed in the soil by ploughing. These plants turn into green manure, which makes the soil rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. Talking about the fertilizer are chemical actually, which is made up of commercially made. They supply nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and help to increase the crop yield. Fertilizers should be used only in required amounts. Excessive use of the fertilizers can reduce soil fertility and also cause water pollution. Obviously, when we use them in excess, they will eventually find their way in water bodies, and they will pollute the water bodies as well, causing water pollution. Next is irrigation. What is irrigation? Supplying water to the crops is called irrigation. Water is necessary for proper growth of plants and help to increase the crop yield. Different kinds of irrigation system are used to supply the water to agricultural land. So what are these sources? Wells, canals, river, tank, dams. There are two types of the wells called dug well and tube well. Dug well is collected from water bearing strata. In tube well, water is collected from deeper strata. Okay. Canal. Canal in this system, canals receive the water from reservoirs or rivers and distribute it to the field. So we store the water in canal and then distribute it to field. River lift system. In this system, water is lifted from the river directly to irrigate the field close to the river. Tanks are the small storage reservoirs which supply the water to the field. Check dams. These are used to stop the rainwater from flowing away and help to increase the groundwater level and reduce the soil erosion. So dams are built to stop the rainwater from flowing. They do not let the rainwater to go waste. That's why these dams are made. Next is crop protection management. Crops in the field are damaged by weeds. As we know, weeds are unwanted plant, pests and disease. As we know, these are the those agents which damage our crop. Weeds are unwanted plants which grow in our field. For example, xanthium, parthenium, cyperinus, rhodontus, etc. These are the weeds. They compete with the required crop for food, space and sunlight, and use their nutrients and reduce our crop yield. Insect pests cause damage to the root, stem and leaves and suck the cell sap and bore into stem and the fruits. They can reduce the crop yield. Okay. So insects are very harmful as well. So because they can bore in the stem or fruit as well, they also reduce our crop yield, damage our fruit yield. Disease in the plants are caused by pathogens. What are the pathogens? These are the disease causing agents or organisms like viruses, bacteria, fungi. Obviously, it will reduce our yield. Insects, weeds, insect pests and diseases can be controlled by chemicals like weedicides for weeds, pesticides for pests, fungicides for fungi. These are sprayed on crop plant or used for treating the seeds and soil. Since these chemicals are poisonous, excessive use of these chemicals can cause environmental pollution. Now, storage of grains. The factors responsible for so this was about the crop protection management. So you see how we can protect our crop and how we can protect them from various disease causing insects or weeds or any unwanted plants. So we need to have proper eye on our crops, proper check on them. Next is storage of grains. How we can store our grains. First, the factors responsible for damage or loss of the grains can be living factors like bacteria, fungi, insects, rodents, etc. Or some abiotic or non-living factor like moisture, temperature. Okay, so what we have to do before storage, grains should be cleaned and importantly dried in sunlight. There should be absolutely zero moisture content, moisture content, because moisture is the suitable place for microorganisms to grow. So we should make sure that grains which are to be stored should be cleaned and dried properly to remove any kind of moisture, and the storage places are fumigated to kill the pests. Okay, so this was about grain storage. Next is animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is the scientific management of animal livestock, including their feeding, breeding, and disease control. So, animal farming, it includes cattle, sheep, goat, poultry, and fish farming. First is cattle farming. Cattle farming is done for two main purposes. Cattle farming. Why cattle farming is done? First purpose is for milk production and for labor. Milk producing females are called milch animals, and those which are for labor are called draught animals. Milk production depends upon the duration of the lactation period. The period of milk production after the birth of the calf. Okay, the milk production can be increased by increasing the lactation period. Okay, that is the lactation when the mother gives, feeds the calf. Okay, foreign breeds, the Jersey, like Jersey cow is there, or Desi cow is there. Jersey cow is a foreign breed, and brown Swiss have long lactation period. They both are from foreign breeds. Okay, and local breeds like Red Sindhi, Sahiwal are resistant to diseases. So, what we do, we can crossbreed them to get the animals with both the qualities. Okay, we can hybridize them to get better yield of both disease free yield, disease resistant animal, or good, amount of milk animal as well, which give good amount of milk as compared to the normal ones. Cattle shelter should be first. Now, their shelter should be clean, well ventilated, with sloping floors for easy cleaning. Cattle feed should indulge roughage, containing mainly fiber, containing protein and other nutrients. Cattle disease are now their disease are caused by parasites, bacteria, and viruses. External parasite cause skin disease. Internal parasite like worm affect their stomach, intestines, and a flu can damage their liver. Vaccination are given to protect from viral and bacterial diseases. Next is poultry farming. As you know, poultry farming meaning rearing of hen for the production of meat and egg. Improved poultry breeds are developed to produce the layers for eggs and broilers for meat. So there are two types of poultry. One is layer. Layer are reared for production of egg, and broilers, they have good quality of flesh, so they are reared for the production of flesh or meat. Crossbreeding between the Indian varieties like Asil, this is the Indian variety, and foreign, that is exotic variety, Langhorn, is done to develop the new varieties. When we crossbreed with native and the foreign ones, we get new generation with good qualities. For food production of the poultry birds, they are given proper nutrition and are kept in hygienic condition and proper temperature condition. Broiler chickens are fed with vitamin, protein, fat rich feed for better growth. Poultry fowls are affected by diseases caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. They are protected from disease by proper sanitation, spraying disinfectants, and vaccination. Fish production. Fish production is called pisciculture. Pisciculture is a source of animal protein. There are two ways of obtaining the fish. They are from natural source called capturing fish, and from fish farming called culture fishery. Okay, the water source of the fish can be sea water, that is saline water or marine water, or fresh water like river, ponds, lakes. Marine fisheries, the popular marine fish variety are pomfret, mackerel, tuna, sardines, etc. They are caught by fishing nets from boats. Very common and very primitive method, catching the fish with the help of nets. Some marine fishes are farmed in seawater. These include prawns, mullets, pearls, spots, mussels, oysters, etc. We get pearls from oysters. Inland fisheries. Inland fishery Culture fishery is done in freshwater and brackish water, while seawater and freshwater, are mixed together. It's called inland fishes, where freshwater and saline water mix together. Sometimes fish culture is done in combination with a paddy field. This is called composite fish culture, when there is combination of paddy, cultivation and fish culture. The common fishes in inland fisheries are rohu, katla, marigal, grass carp, silver carp, common carp, etc. Next is beekeeping. Beekeeping is also called apiculture. Beekeeping is done to obtain the honey and wax. As you know, honey is used. Honey has tremendous significance. It is used as source of energy. It has medicinal value as well. Wax is obtained in medicinal preparation and for making the polishes. The local varieties of the bees used for honey production are Indian bee, rock bee, little bee. An Italian variety of the bee is also being used for large scale production of honey. The bees collect the nectar from flowers and convert it into honey. In the beehives, bees are artificially grown in apiaries and extracted by a machine called honey extractors. Okay, you must have seen there are bee combs in bee combs, and where bees are reared for the sake of for the production of honey and bee wax, and it has tremendous significance. Honey is used as an antiseptic. It is used for beautifying the skin. It is used for treating remedy for cough during winters, and bee wax is used for making candles, for making polishes.